But people got to remember when Darvin Ham first got hired, everybody loved the move. It wasn't until we actually saw him actually coach, and we did not like it. So I'm gonna give JJ Redick that respect.
You give him a chance, yeah.
Yes. The question is, he's coming into a situation where it's the storied franchise in the NBA. Sure, fine, tied with Boston if you want. Maybe New York in terms of the overall market. And then you're potentially coaching LeBron James. I'm gonna say potentially because he has a player option. I don't know if he declined that yet and is a free agent. But he wasn't as involved in this hiring as Anthony Davis was. Anthony Davis was heads on Dan Hurley or JJ Redick, right? His press conference was amazing, but at the same time, so was Jeff Saturday's, right?
So was Jeff Saturday's. So
Right.
was Bruce Boudreau's.
Bruce Woodrow was at least a head coach. That's
yeah,
different.
Canucks.
But I'm fine with it now, just because like I'm not saying it's easy to coach with no experience,
yeah.
but the NBA's rosters aren't big as the rest of the sports that we usually watch.
So essentially, you're just saying give it a chance. I'll give it a chance. I'll see what he does. And
I love JJ Redick, right?
Yeah.
I really, really do. He's my favorite analyst to listen to.
but are you gonna love him as head coach? That's a question mark. And
I was hoping for him to come to our team as an assistant.
yeah.
Now it depends on how he does his roster, and let's see what happens with the rest.
But how does he fill up his assistant as well? That'll be key. If
Whatever
if you could get good experience with his assistant,
that's what the rumor is, but I don't know
that
what
will help him.
That's what the rumor is. So for me, I don't want to drag this on too long. Like I said, the key thing here is how much is he gonna get the culture set and buy in, right? And the key, listen, is he gonna be Jason Kidd? That's the goal, right? Steve Kerr is the ultimate goal, but here's the thing:
be Jason.
Jason Kidd came in to the Brooklyn situation with a heavy veteran team, which was Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett,
yeah.
Joe Johnson, Darren Williams, Brooke Lopez, right?
Yeah.
Jason Terry. Then he didn't get fired. Let's keep that in mind. He did not get fired. He got traded to the Milwaukee Bucks before he
Yeah.
got fired by the Bucks, and Giannis was crying
Yeah.
when he got fired before Budenholzer came in there, right?
Because Kidd helped him develop Giannis.
But-
like, Kidd was doing good with Giannis.
like
he was.
he did he win the ultimate thing? No, this is the first.
Yeah, but the Bucks were nowhere near to winning
exactly
anything.
no. That's my point, though.
Yeah,
That's
the
my
goal
point.
the goal for the Bucks was to develop Giannis.
That's my point. He didn't have a superstar caliber guy.
Yeah, so Redick's situation is different. Though.
Yes, and
Very
it's the
different.
storied franchise where you fire a coach after 2 years.
Essentially,
Right.
if you don't win, you're fired. That's just how it is. So my reaction is essentially, yes, I'm not gonna give it a chance. Yes, your reaction, same thing. You're gonna give it a chance. You're gonna be hopeful, especially when you are a fan. Do I believe that JJ Redick should be a head coach and have a head coach opportunity, or look for head coaching opportunities in this league? Yes. Do I believe it should be with the
He
Lakers?
interviewed with your team.
Do I believe should it be with the Lakers? Hell no. I don't think. First reaction was, what the hell's gonna happen to the podcast?
Is it done? Let's listen to the presser.
Damn. Second thing is, like, you're going into a situation where you're expected to win. And don't get me wrong, you do have a roster where you can win. But who leads LeBron James other than LeBron James? I'm not saying LeBron James is not a coachable player, but I'm saying there's a very high standard that needs to be set. That,
They have a podcast together.
yeah, I know. Don't get me wrong. But are you going to... Because a lot of these coaches and all these stuff that have been in with LeBron James is a coach, essentially. He is
Yeah.
a coach. Essentially, you're going to have to win over LeBron to win over the roster. Right? And then, yes, you kind of have one over LeBron to one over the roster. But the question mark is it going to be your team or is it going to be LeBron's team still?
So
Right? Essentially, because Darvin Ham and LeBron James were not on the same page. It was clear.
I think
It was
this
clear.
is-
Same with Anthony Davis. And that's what cost you guys this season.
I don't blame what Anthony.
I don't
Davis
blame him.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying, your coach and your roster are not on the same page.
Listen,
Similar situation. A guy who has never coached in the NBA before. Darvin Ham never had a head coaching job before.
but
Leading a guy who is one of the GOATs of the sport, who essentially takes over as a coach himself. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing because LeBron deserves full right to do that. How do you lead that guy?
So the good news is they
I
have
just don't
they have a
think-
relationship together already.
That's good.
That helps. He won. The reason why he got hired is because the Lakers were scared that he's gonna get a head coaching job as soon as early as this year. Cleveland was open when it was, and so it's still Detroit.
Yeah, like
You guys interviewed him last year.
that's true.
And in the
But
future, he might get a job
it
right away.
makes sense for us, right? Redick is a young guy who's gonna coach and needs to build something. I think it's a much different situation for Redick when something's already built and you have to be the finishing piece. Is JJ Redick the finishing piece for the Los Angeles Lakers? I do not believe that.
See, like, so that's where I'm gonna agree with you. Because obviously,
it's a different story.
He got hired because of his knowledge in the game.
But it's a different story if you went to like the Hornets and he's building up a squad.
Yeah.
Jason Kidd built up something, right? Steve Kerr built up something. Yes, the roster was obviously
Mark
stacked.
Jackson was a big factor with that.
Yeah,
too.
Mark Jackson was a big factor as well. But the situation is way different for JJ Redick than it is all the examples that we brought up, because it's a situation that personally, in my experience of watching basketball, I have never ever seen before. And in terms of any sport, except for the Jeff Saturday situation, which was a big fail for the Indianapolis.
That's a whole different story.
Yeah,
that was some homerism in there.
Yeah,
too.
that was just I'm just saying, you're getting a coach that is JJ Redick the finishing piece, like how Steve Kerr was the finishing piece for the Warriors.
So that's what we're gonna see, because listen, at the end of the day, I don't want to. This is the whole McDavid situation where they hired Knobloch. Oh yeah, you had all the say, and he's saying he didn't. All three parties have said, LeBron, Pelinka, and JJ, that they did not have a conversation of how involved he was in the head coach. JJ Redick on his presser said, "I did not talk to LeBron until I was offered the job." Okay. LeBron, when the Hurley situation was the exact same thing, he's like, "Listen, I might not be here next year. I might be retiring in 3 years. Who knows? Build this team around Anthony Davis and build this team around whoever you're going to trade for, or the young guys."
And your coach build this team around that too.
So I have a little bit more optimism because of what I've seen JJ Redick say on not just the podcast, but ESPN in general.
He's a smart guy.
He knows what to do.
He knows.
The problem with coaching NBA and NBA players, like you said perfectly, is managing egos. Steve Kerr did that well, but Steph Curry was not a superstar player until Steve Kerr got there.
Exactly.
Right?
So Steve Kerr built something.
But he did coach a team with Kevin Durant on it. Yes, we know how it ended between him and Draymond, but they still ended up getting 2 championships right before that.
They were successful.
Right? Jason Kidd, I get it, Hall of Fame player, had to coach Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, guys who won championship. So did Jason Kidd, I get it. And then it's like final year with Dallas or something, when the only Dallas championship right, that he won with them. But you have also guys who were equal caliber. I get it. JJ Redick is more of a Steve Kerr than a Jason Kidd, right? But this could be Steve Nash as well, because Steve Nash is a Hall of Fame player, smart guy, but he had to deal with Kyrie Irving drama mixed with James Harden, which ended up being Ben Simmons, and then obviously Kevin Durant as well.
Essentially, this is a high ceiling, low floor situation for JJ Redick right now.
Yeah,
it's
a high risk. Listen, what other available? I mean, yes, there's James Borrego was available. I get it.
Yeah,
Kenny
like there's
Atkinson was
experienced guys. Yes, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying necessarily it's a situation that it's gonna be. It's a situation that can get really crazy, but at the same time, it's a situation that could work out really well, and that's what I'm trying to bring up here. Is that I just don't see. I'm not saying JJ Redick's going to fail, but I'm just saying I just don't know. Firstly, I'm talking about from JJ Redick's perspective that the Lakers were the best option for him. That's what I'm trying to say.